We begin tonight with breaking news in the Michael Slager case. The former North Charleston police officer pleaded guilty to a civil rights violation in federal court.
That plea deal with federal prosecutors ends this federal case and also the state case as well. Take a look. In this plea agreement, Slager admitted to several things, including his taser dropped to the ground behind him. As Scott was running away, Slager fired 8 shots at him from his department-issued firearm. During the time each shot was fired, Scott was unarmed and running away from Slager. 5 shots hit Scott, all entering from behind.
Slager shot Scott a little more than 2 years ago after a traffic stop for a broken taillight. And certainly hard to forget this video captured by a witness, Faden Santana. Scott took off from that traffic stop. Interesting to note, too, a friend, a passenger in that car. Slager followed. The 2 men ended up in a struggle before Slager fired his gun. This is video we had of Michael Slager on your right not long after that shooting.
And earlier today, before that court appearance, Michael Slager's attorney Andy Savage did release a statement. He said, quote, "This afternoon, Michael Slager will enter a guilty plea to using excessive force in violation of 18 U.S.C. section 242 as he attempted to arrest Walter Scott on April 4th of 2015. We hope that Michael's acceptance of responsibility will help the Scott family as they continue to grieve their loss. As the sentencing date has not yet been determined, we will refrain from further comment at this time."
ABC News 4's Alex Heaton was in the courtroom today for that guilty plea hearing. She's joining us live with more. Alex.
Dean, Ashley, Michael Slager is in police custody right now at the Alvin Glenn Detention Center, or excuse me, Al Cannon Detention Center. He came through these gates just about an hour and a half or so ago after that hearing at 2:30. Now, all of this is after we heard late last night and into the early morning that he was going to change his plea of not guilty for that excessive force violation to guilty. And then just about 2:35 today, he approached Judge Richard Norton. He went through those lists of whether he violated his civil rights and several series of questions, whether Michael Slager knew that he was giving up certain civil or constitutional rights of his, like whether he giving up his right to appeal. Scarlett Wilson spoke afterwards to the public, and she talked about what it would mean for law enforcement moving forward.
My hope is by Michael Slager standing up in court, admitting that what he did was wrong, that he knew it was wrong, that it was willful, that it was not self-defense. I hope that that will make law enforcement safer. It's the most dangerous job in the world to be a law enforcement officer here in the United States. We have to turn this around. And my hope is that accountability for Michael Slager is going to mean that fewer officers die, that fewer civilians die, and that we move forward together as a nation, as a community, having love and respect for each other.
Now, inside that courtroom today, it was extremely quiet as Michael Slager said out loud, "I am changing my plea to guilty for excessive force." And about 20 minutes after that, he gave his attorney, Andy Savage, a hug and then was placed into handcuffs and walked right past the Scott family out of the courtroom. Again, very quiet in there. But as we heard from the Scott family and their representatives afterwards, they do feel like they got justice in this case. And they feel that Michael Slager just taking responsibility and standing in that courtroom today saying those words was enough for them. Working for you in downtown Charleston, Alex Heaton, ABC News 4.
Alex, thank you so much. Solicitor Scarlett Wilson also released a statement after the guilty plea. She said, quote, "Today in working with the department, we found justice in a resolution that vindicates the state's interest by holding former police officer Michael Slager accountable for shooting Mr. Scott in the back when Slager knew it was wrong and illegal, as well as justice in a resolution that recognized the egregious violation of Mr. Scott's civil rights."
Now that Slager has pleaded guilty to a willful violation, admitted the facts we set out to prove, and waived the right to appeal his conviction, a successive prosecution by the state is not necessary. A first look now at those courtroom sketches from earlier today. The first showing Michael Slager facing the judge with Judy Scott, Walter Scott's mother, in the bottom right-hand corner. The second this afternoon showing Michael Slager's face as he faced a judge changing his plea to guilty.
Important to remind people, too, that we are not able to bring our cameras into federal court, and reason why for the sketches there. This is a live look now at the Alcan Detention Center. Just about 25 minutes ago, Michael Slager was brought into that bay, escorted out of an SUV and taken into the Alcan Detention Center, where he will be processed once again, and a mugshot will then be released. He is expected to be there within 60 to 90 days. Sentencing, he will stay there until the sentencing phase will be held in federal court. Beth Drake with the U.S. Attorney's Office said today that she would see us in the, quote, next several months for sentencing. So you can take that as she said it, whether it be 2 months or 3 months.
Our continuing coverage continues this afternoon with our Bill Burr. He is getting some reaction from Walter Scott's family. Bill.
Ashley, as you might expect, it's been a long couple of years here for Walter Scott's family. They've been remarkably composed during this entire time, and we haven't heard from them too often during the last couple of years, but whenever we did, they were very cautiously optimistic, I guess you could say, regarding the system. And Judy Scott often referred to her faith and her strength in God in being able to get through these proceedings here as we led up to the state trial last year and then eventually to the federal case coming up this year. Solicitor Scarlett Wilson complimented the Scott family for their grace and elegance during this time. Even she was amazed at the strength and composure that the Scott family had during this time, and she gave them a lot of credit as well for asking for peace in the streets here as we went through the legal proceedings here, as the judicial system took its place. And even last fall, when there was a disappointment with the trial, as they weren't obviously expecting for a hung jury, they were optimistic that something would take place here in the federal system, and that's indeed what took place today. First, we're going to hear now from the family's attorney and then Walter Scott's mother and brother. Okay, we had some sound from them, but it's not queued up at this point. But I can tell you that Judy Scott talked about forgiveness, and she said she forgives Michael Slager for what happened. And she said that she is going to be cautiously optimistic here for a proper punishment, whenever that comes down here in the next few months. Beth Scott, an official with the Department of Justice, also said that even though she couldn't comment too much regarding this, she and Solicitor Scarlett Wilson are confident in the federal case here and the federal judge in this, in being able to weigh all the evidence in the case and all the things that have happened here for a punishment to be handed down where Michael Slager will have to spend a significant amount of time behind bars. We will try to get to some of that sound here from the Scott family coming up a little bit later here on ABC News 4 at 5. Dean and Ashley, back to you.
All right, Bill, thank you. It's interesting kind of getting different perspective from the family during that press conference. Anthony Scott said, when asked, he said, I want him to have life in prison. When Judy Scott was asked, she said, whatever time I want, it's not going to bring my son back.
Yeah, and let's talk about that because as we've been mentioning over the course of the last 2 hours or so, is that next step in the process, which will be the sentencing phase. Ryan, when can we expect, though, a sentencing date to be set? How long will that process take?
The process could take 6 to 8 weeks or longer, or it could be shorter if they wanted to push it. It depends on how long the federal government's able to get their sentencing report done and then give a chance to the defense attorneys to do their own memo as well.
So that's something that the judge, David Norton, will set that date, or does he come into an agreement with the prosecution?
The judge will set that date when he wants that report.
And then walk our viewers through as well what will happen on that day. The family will of Walter Scott will get a chance to address the judge.
Address the judge. The judge will have obviously read the memo from the defense team. They will have read the sentencing report from the federal government. He will be familiar with all the evidence in the case, all the impact statements, and then he will render a verdict or render a sentence.
This is something. Is this going to be a day event, a 2-day event?
It just depends on, I mean, this is a very involved case. It's complex. There's a lot of moving parts, so it could be all day. It could be a few hours.
Michael Slager could also speak. That is an option as well, correct?
I believe so, that he has the ability to speak at this. I haven't read anything here that denies him the ability to do that, but that will be up to him and his attorney whether he wants to give a statement.
How closely has the the community of lawyers been following this case?
Oh, I mean, it's a very tight-knit community. The Charleston Bar, the Berkeley County Bar, we run into each other on a daily basis. We talk. This is what we do for a living. So we've been following this very closely in our office. I know that, as well as as a topic for discussion at dinner, happy hours with other lawyers as well.
You were reviewing that guilty plea that's in front of you. It's several pages long. The big takeaway from that is you were surprised of the agreement that's being made between the state and the federal governments. Correct.
This is for lack of a better term, I would say that maybe a hybrid agreement. Generally, you don't see state charges and federal charges being wrapped up all at once. Typically, you see the federal government trying a case, winning or losing, and then the state coming back to try a case. Obviously, the state tried the murder case and got a hung jury, and the federal government took over, and this kind of wraps all that up at once.
Coming off of that hung jury, and you can't put yourself in Andy's shoes, but when you come off of that hung jury, feels like a win for him. He's got the momentum coming in to this federal case. If you were a guessing man, what turned the table here?
I would say that the hung jury definitely turned the table. His client has still pled guilty to federal charges. He still has, had the state charges pending because they can always bring them back, but this kind of wraps that up. He did a good job for his client. He did the best job, I think, that he could hope for with the evidence that was presented from what I saw. And I believe this is what allowed, the hung jury is what allowed the resolution and the plea agreement to move forward.
Ryan Schwartz, thank you so much for your insight tonight. Greatly appreciate it.
Good to see you.
As always, you can follow the latest on this developing story on our ABC News 4 mobile app. We've been on the air for the last several hours letting you know the very latest. And of course, we were the first to let you know about Slager's guilty plea through a push alert that was sent out earlier today. If you do not have the app, now, of course, the perfect time to download it so you can learn more about breaking news updates the moments they come into our newsroom. That app, of course, free to download right now for Apple and also Android devices.
And you're watching ABC News 4 at 5. There's much more to come tonight, including continuing team coverage from downtown Charleston after Michael Slager's guilty plea. We'll also take a look at that forecast. We're back after this.
Some much needed rain for the low country today. It poured in Mount Pleasant just a few hours ago.
That shower stuck around for a bit. This is what it looked like east of the Cooper. In fact, many parts of the area received that much needed rain. And this is a look at the radar from earlier today when that band of showers hit the low country. You can see the rain moving in from the southeast.
And that rain has now moved out of the area, thankfully, and we are treated to sunny skies for just a little bit this afternoon. More rain, though, on the way tonight.
Yeah, Chief Meteorologist Dave Williams here with your first look at a soggy weather forecast. Dave?
Yeah, and I say keep it coming.
Yeah.
We can use it. Now, I'm supposed to head out again tomorrow to Berkeley County for Nature Scope. I was out there this morning, met about 1,200 of my new best friends. And a lot of kids from Berkeley County schools head out to Old Santee Canal Park. And here are my new friends. We were having a good time out there. It was gorgeous this morning. We were talking about the weather, and I told them it was going to rain, and we got the rain, and we're going to see more chances for rain. Kids, it was great to see you out there, and parents as well. Hopefully I can make it out tomorrow, but might have to wait until the raindrops get through. Right now at the Charleston Airport, 69 cloudy skies. Looking outside, plenty of clouds, not raining right this moment over the harbor, but we do have showers, especially south of Charleston. We've got a little thunderstorm rumbling there in southern Charleston County, headed over toward Wadmalaw Island from Edisto Beach. There it is. We've got the lightning strikes just inland from Seabrook and Kiowa. And this rain, much needed, much appreciated. A couple more showers headed back towards St. George, Branchville, back into Orangeburg County. And we're going to continue to see chances for rain this evening. I think most of our rain is actually going to fall overnight tonight and then into tomorrow morning. By tomorrow afternoon, I think things will quiet down big time. 70 degrees at 7 p.m. with some showers and thunderstorms. Upper 60s at 9, a little leftover rain. I think it's quiet at 11, but we'll see more showers and thunderstorms coming in overnight tonight. Hopefully nothing severe, but we'll take a look at those storms and your weekend, which is looking gorgeous. It's all coming up in just a few minutes.
Hey, Dave, we'll see you shortly. Thank you. And make sure you download the ABC News 4 First Warning Weather app to track the forecast wherever you go. You'll definitely want to keep it this weekend to keep an eye on the rain with so many activities like the Cooper River Bridge Run and Flower Town Festival. It is free to download right now.
All right, this on-time traffic, let's take a look and see what's happening in and around the low country. The Savannah Mile looking a little slow right now, 526. In the typical places, coming over the Don Holt Bridge and also the Westmoreland Bridge over in West Ashley. A couple of accidents within the last 45 minutes in Berkeley County, one in Monk's Corner, also a disabled vehicle downtown 26 eastbound. That is at Cosgrove Avenue. That looks to be cleared right now. Everything is smooth going as we take a look at our traffic camera right now. US 17 North heading into Mount Pleasant or heading into downtown Charleston. Looking good on this Thursday afternoon. This on-time traffic report sponsored by Fred Anderson Toyota of Charleston.
This Cooper River Bridge Run update is sponsored by O2 Fitness.
All right, yep, we are so close. 2 days until one of the most highly anticipated and most popular events right here in the Low Country.
The Cooper River Bridge Run. This year is the 40th anniversary. Day one of the expo underway right now, and thousands of people are picking up their race packets.
Yeah, Angela Brown is live in the middle of all of that madness. She's joining us right now. Angela?
Yes. You know, a lot of people are probably getting off work, coming down here to pick up their packets. Now, we're standing where all this could happen, where folks can at least get the process rolling and pick up their bib. You know, it's been very busy all day, as you can imagine. And it's going to be even busier tomorrow, according to the Assistant Race Director, Tammy Boren. Thank you so much for joining us. First, just walk me through the process. If you're planning to come down here a little bit later tonight, what's the process? What do you have to do?
Okay, when you walk in the doors, there'll be some boards, like chalkboards, and you look up your name and you find your bib number. Then you walk into the convention center, pick up your bib, and then go over to pack and pick up your T-shirt and pack. It sounds so many things in the pocket, so many P's.
Now, you tell me how tremendous the response has been so far, but it really isn't too late, right?
No, it's not too late, but we're getting close to our cap. So I would advise anybody that wants to register to get here early tomorrow.
But first, let's talk also about those numbers. Where do we stand in terms of how many people registered and where you have to go, stuff like that?
We have registered right now about 38,000, and our cap is 38.5.
So you're knocking on that door.
We're knocking on that door.
When you look around the convention center, there's a lot going on here, not just picking up packets. This is like one-stop shopping for these.
Yes, it is. It's great for runners and walkers to come in. We've got over 120 vendors here. They give a lot of free giveaways. You know, all sorts of running gear and stuff. So it's great for the whole family to come.
And for folks who maybe can't drop by tonight, what time tomorrow?
Tomorrow we're here from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
That's good. Thank you so much, Tammy. And you see, thank you so much. And you see, if you look down here, all these boxes, these are the folks who still need to pick up their bibs. So you have a lot of runners left to come down here to pick up their packets. And remember, you can be here or come down here until 8 o'clock to pick up your packet. Reporting live here inside the convention center, working for you tonight, Angela Brown, ABC News 4.
Angela, thank you. Of course, this is the 40th year of the race. A lot of history out on the streets. One man has kept track of it all.
That's right. Our Alex Heaton talked with him today, and he has quite the stories. Alex.
That's right, Dean. Ashley, so many stories about the race over the years, from when it was just one lane and cars traveled right next to the runners, and the time a crash shut down the bridge, delaying the race, and drivers hopping out of their cars to join in. Cedric Jaggers has seen it all. He missed the very first race in 1978, but then he ran 35 in a row. He's kept records of every finisher, their awards, their times. He's asked thousands of runners their thoughts on the race, and he's put almost 40 years of history into one book, all for you to enjoy.
You won't find a history of the bridge run anywhere else. I tried to write a book that runners and other people would want to read. The first part of it tells about the race, who won, how many people there were. The second part of it is interviews with people who ran the race or who were involved with the race. The third part of it, in each chapter, is who won prizes, their names and their times for everybody.
It took him a year to compile all the research and names of every runner. He even managed to get color pictures for every year of the race. And it really is an interesting read to flip through and see what runners from 1978 up until 2010 said just moments after crossing that finish line. And he's in town to document this race as well. Again, he has so many stories, and we'll share some of those tonight on ABC News 4 at 6. Dean.
All right, thanks. Parents, listen up. Tomorrow is the Kids Run and Wonderfest. Wonderfest kicks everything off at 11 in the morning. There will be pony rides, face painting, music, and much more. Kids Run starts at 5 o'clock. There are 3 races that kids can participate in. The Toddler Waddler, That would be good for me. A quarter-mile race and a mile-long race. You do have to register for those races. It takes place at Hampton Park. Great fun.
Yeah, tomorrow night as well. It's the Taste of the Bridge Run. More than 25 restaurants are participating. It's a chance for locals and visitors to get a taste of Charleston before that big race. The event is happening at 3 locations: the Charleston Area Convention Center, where the expo is located, Harborside East in Mount Pleasant, and the Maritime Center in downtown Charleston. This runs from 5 to 8. Again, tomorrow evening, it costs $15 per person.
And if you're running in the race or maybe watching from the sidelines or the sidewalks, we'd love to see those pictures. You can send them through our ABC News 4 app. It's very simple. Just select See It, Send It on the menu. You can also share pictures and video with us on social media. Make sure to use the hashtag #GoForIt. And don't forget, ABC News 4 is your official Bridge Run station for this year's race. You can catch our official Cooper River Bridge Run live show. It runs Saturday morning from 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. All right, a simple conversation gets the wheels turning for one big idea.
Coming up tonight, how an elementary school teacher is getting her students up and moving and going places.
And we're talking Final Four. The Lady Gamecocks in Texas preparing for their matchup. We're going to tell you about that game. Plus, Scott and Darren are in Phoenix.
I'm Scott Eisberg, live in the Valley of the Sun, Phoenix, Arizona. A hot day in the desert, but while the weather is good here, one major Gamecock is under the weather. We will have those details coming up after the break.
Breaking right now, a possible explosion at an Ariana Grande concert.
Yeah, police confirm there's been a serious incident at Manchester Arena in England. They are telling people to stay away from that area.
In a statement, police say there are a number of confirmed fatalities as well as additional injuries. Emergency services report it happened at the end of Grande's concert. Reps for Ariana Grande confirm she was not harmed.
Manchester Victoria Station has been evacuated and trains are unable to run. Local time right now in Manchester is midnight. And happening right now, we continue to follow that double shooting in Goose Creek. This is the scene right now on Gator Drive.
The Berkeley County Sheriff's Office says one person is in custody. No word on whether that person is a suspect or how they are connected to this shooting. Deputies say 2 people were shot by someone after an altercation. The victims were taken to the hospital. We tonight are working to learn their conditions. You can count on us to bring you updates as soon as they come in.
And happening right now, dark clouds have moved into the low country. We are in a stretch of wet weather.
Yeah, it would be much needed for the low country, but you'll want to keep your rain boots and umbrella handy. Our Dave Williams joining us with when we can expect all this rain to come our way. Dave?
Yeah, and we've already had some move through. We're going to see more rounds of showers and thunderstorms this evening, on into the day tomorrow, Wednesday, and again Thursday. So get ready. Have the umbrellas ready to go because we will get plenty of rain. As we get a look at the temperatures across the low country right now, we're all in the 70s. Charleston warmest at 78. Moncks Corner the coolest where there has been some rain at 70 degrees. And you see those showers and thunderstorms. Another thunderstorm starting to pop up right around Moncks Corner, and they're moving off to the north and east. The heaviest of the rain has been right along I-95, and we'll see round after round of that rain. It's not going to rain all the time for the next few days, but those rain chances will stay in the forecast each and every day. 72 tonight with some scattered showers and thunderstorms. About the same tomorrow, and with the clouds, we'll only be able to heat up to 82. And then tomorrow night, 70 degrees. We will see those rain chances heading down later this week, just in time for the holiday. We'll take a look at that Memorial Day holiday forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
Dave, thank you. Happening tonight, she's searching for love right here on ABC4. The new season of The Bachelorette begins tonight.
And this season is the most diverse ever. Danya Bacchus has a sneak peek of what you can expect.
Rachel.
Hi.
Welcome.
It's a history-making season for The Bachelorette. Rachel Lindsay is the show's first ever African-American leading lady.
I'm so ready to meet these guys.
And this season, the group of 31 men pursuing her is the franchise's most diverse yet.
I went to producers and I said, look, I date everyone. I don't have a particular type. And I would like for the men coming out of the limo the first night to reflect that. And they did, as you can see.
The 32-year-old lawyer who was on last season's The Bachelor now gets her own chance to find true love. And the men pull out all the stops to impress her.
Once penguins find their soulmates, they tend to mate for life. And with any luck, I hope that that's me.
Did I do that?
Another first this season, we already know there's a happy ending.
But the thing is, you already announced you're engaged.
I'm engaged. Thank you.
It's no secret, Rachel has found the one. But to find out who it is...
You have to follow along on the journey, and it's really exciting. You won't be able to tell.
Rachel tells us she hasn't started planning the wedding yet. She wants to be able to spend time with her fiancé openly and without cameras present before they set a date. The Bachelorette premieres tonight at 9 on ABC. Danya Bacchus, ABC News, Los Angeles.
All right, and before the Bachelorette can start handing out roses, there are a few more dances in the ballroom. The two-part season finale of Dancing with the Stars begins in just an hour at 8 o'clock. Rashad Jennings, David Ross, Normani Corday made it to the finals. Tonight, they'll each perform a redemption-style dance and a freestyle dance. Again, it all starts at 8 o'clock right here on ABC4.
And happening right now, standing room only at the Charleston County School Board meeting. Parents, educators, and activists are rallying over what they call bullying and harassment against teachers by the school district. So many people there tonight. We're told the rooms are overflowing, the lobby also packed. The meeting has now moved on to the public comment section, as you can see there to my right. Weeks ago, when the group Ed First SC held a rally in the same spot downtown. Since then, they say they've only gotten more concerned about the use of standardized testing.
Just been people hauled into closed-door meetings and told that you know, their test scores are no good, and the board wanted to fire them, and now they still don't even know where they stand.
Many are concerned that test scores will be used to evaluate teachers and administrators. It all stems from the resignation of Jake Rambo, principal of James B. Edwards Elementary. In his resignation letter, Rambo said low test scores is the primary reason the district moved him. Our Carolyn Balchunas is at that school board meeting. You can look for her updates tonight on ABC News 4 at 11 o'clock.
A special celebration and a chance for parents to kickstart the college fund for their children. The state treasurer announced today every baby born next Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday will be eligible to receive a $5,290 grant to a future scholar account. It's part of the Palmetto Baby Grant program, all to celebrate the College Savings Plan's 15th anniversary.
A crash that killed a 16-year-old girl is making many parents rethink safety when it comes to their kids behind the wheel. Wando High School student Faith Dutton lost her life Friday on Highway 41 in Mount Pleasant. Police have yet to release the crash report, but today we talked to a Wando High School sophomore and her father. She said students wore yellow for Faith today. She said they're also talking to each other about driving safety.
Be a defensive driver. Learn how to watch out for other drivers and learn how to know what's going around you, because no matter how prepared you are, you need to know what other people are doing, because they might be the ones making the mistake.
Two other students riding with Dutton were injured in that crash. No word on their conditions tonight.
We now know the identity of the man killed in a crash on Plow Ground Road. The Charleston County Coroner's Office says it was 32-year-old Nathan McCrae, a Wando graduate. Investigators say he died there at the scene. We're told his vehicle veered off the road and hit a tree around 3:30 this morning. The sheriff's office is still investigating, but says speed does not appear to be a factor. As we approach Memorial Day, tonight we have a story about a hero finding his way home. Jeremy Brookins took a sniper's bullet to the chest while serving in Iraq 10 years ago. Our Brody Hart found out how an organization is helping in his healing process tonight. Brody?
Dean and Ashley, healing's been a long process for both Jeremy Brookins and his family, but today the Marine got to see for the first time the home One Low Country Group is building for him completely free. Now, that group is Operation Finally Home. They build custom homes for military heroes and widows of the fallen. Now, the house in Somerville is still in the early stages, but it's not an ordinary construction zone. There were about 40 friends and soon-to-be neighbors there today. They nailed around 100 paper hearts to the studs and wrote encouraging notes on them. And Jeremy's battled physical and mental issues for the last 10 years since he was shot in Iraq, and he told us this house will help with his healing.
The generosity that the community and all the builders have put into this for somebody that they don't even know. It really hits the heartstrings. It makes all the pain, all the funerals that I've been to, that makes it okay.
He also told us no matter what bad things may come, that house will always be filled with love. Operation Finally Home builds hundreds of houses just like his across the country every year, and they say one of their biggest needs is volunteers to help build, and that home for him should be finished in the fall. Ashley?
Thank you, Brody. Representative Wendell Gilliard isn't giving up. He wants changes at the state's assisted living facilities and nursing homes. He hosted another roundtable today on safety concerns. Last year, Gilliard proposed 3 bills in the state house. Those bills, though, stalled. Today, he sat next to Lieutenant Governor Kevin Bryant in North Charleston. He says he's optimistic changes will be made next session.
We have to stay the course. And that's when it is time now to come back and listen to the people and then get people involved that would help drive these bills to become law.
Also in the room today, the attorney representing Marie Duddy and the son of Bonnie Walker. You may remember those 2 women wandered out of their low-country assisted living facilities last year and were later found dead. DHEC was also at that meeting today. A spokesperson says ever since last year's deaths, they continue to work with lawmakers on strengthening laws and regulations to prevent this